Hello children, this session we will learn from Trade to Territory Part 3. The British administration in India was run by four institutions: civil service, army, police and judiciary. The term civil service was used for the first time by the East India Company to distinguish its civilian employees from their military counterparts. Translating law into action and collecting revenue were the main jobs of the civil service. The nominated civil servants indulged in corruption, bribery, and illegal private trade. So, Cornwallis, who came to India as Governor General in 1786, enforced the rules against private trade. Lord Wellesley, who came to India as Governor General in 1798, introduced the idea of suitable training for the civil servants. In 1800, he established a college in Fort William at Calcutta to provide training. The idea of competition for recruitment was introduced first by the Charter Act of 1833. This system was also called as nomination cum competition system. This system was confirmed by the Government of India Act of 1858. The Indian Civil Service Act of 1861, passed by the British Parliament, exclusively reserved certain categories for high executive and judicial posts for them. Due to the lowering of age limit and holding of examination in London, it could be possible only for a very few wealthy Indians to appear at the ICS examination. In 1869, three Indians, Surendranath Banerjee, Ramesh Chandra Dutt, Bihari Lal Gupta, became successful in the ICS examination held in London. Satyendranath Tagore, the elder brother of poet Rabindranath Tagore, was the first Indian to pass the ICS examination in 1863. In 1912, a Royal Commission on Public Service was appointed, chaired by Lord Islington. This commission had two Indian members, G.K. Gokhale and Sir Abdul Rahim, besides four Englishmen. In 1918, Montague and Lord Chelmsford recommended that 33% Indians should be recruited in Indian civil service. In 1923, a Royal Commission under Lord Lee of Fareham as chairman was presented. The Lee Commission recommended the immediate establishment of a Public Service Commission. The Act of 1935 also made provisions for the establishment of a Federal Public Service Commission at the centre and Provincial Public Service Commission in the various provinces. Provision was also made for a Joint Public Service Commission in two or more provinces. The Army. The Army was the second important pillar of the British administration in India. The East India Company started recruiting its own army, which came to be known as the Sepoy. That Sepoy army was trained and disciplined according to European military standards and commanded by European officers in the battlefield. Indian soldiers were given less salaries and allowances than English soldiers. In 1857, the Indians constituted about 86% of the total strength of the company's army. After the revolt of 1857, the important changes were made where they increased British troops and reduced Indian troops. The British police system was created by Lord Cornwallis. He relieved the zamindars from police functions and established a regular police force in 1791. Cornwallis established a system of circles or thanas, each headed by a daroga. The hereditary village police became chowkidars. In the big city, the old office of Kotwal continued. In 1808, a superintendent of police was appointed for each division. Later, the district collector was entrusted with the task of controlling the police force. The main task of the police was to handle crime and to prevent conspiracy against the British rule. Judicial system. In 1772, The dual government was abolished and the company took over the direct responsibility for the collection of revenue as well as the administration of justice. By the Regulating Act of 1773, a Supreme Court was set up in Calcutta. This court consisted of a Chief Justice and three judges. Sir Elijah Impey was the first Chief Justice of the Supreme Court at Fort William in Bengal. In 1832, William Bentinck started jury system in Bengal. A rule of law was established for the whole empire, and according to this, high courts were set up in Calcutta, Bombay, and Madras. Lord Wellesley introduced the system of subsidiary alliance to bring the princely state under the control of the British. It was the most effective instrument for the expansion of the British territory and political influence in India. The princely state were called protected state and British became the paramount power. Main features of the subsidiary alliance. An Indian ruler entering into this alliance with the British had to dissolve his own armed forces and accept British forces. A British resident would stay in his capital. Towards the maintenance charges of the army, he should make annual payments. All the non English European officials should be turned out of the state. The native ruler should deal with foreign states only through the English company. The British would undertake to defend the state from internal trouble as well as external attack. The subsidiary alliances made the Indian rulers weak, oppressive, and irresponsible. Protected by British arms, they neglected their duty towards their subjects and even exploited them. The first Indian state to accept the subsidiary alliance was Hyderabad, followed by Tanjore, Awadh, Peshwa, Bhonsle, Gwalior, Indore, Jaipur, Udaipur, and Jodhpur. Lord Dalhousie was one of the chief architects of the British Empire in India. He adopted a new policy known as Doctrine of Lapse to extend the British Empire. He made use of this precedent and declared in 1848 that if the native rulers adopted children without the prior permission of the company, only the personal properties of the rulers would go to the adopted son and the kingdoms would go to the British power. This principle was called the Doctrine of Lapse. It was bitterly opposed by the Indians and it was one of the root causes for the Great Revolt of 1857. By applying the doctrine of lapse policy, Dalhousie annexed Satara, Jaipur and Sambalpur, Bhagat, Udaipur, Jhansi and Nagpur. Factors for the success of the British: greater naval power, development of textile, scientific division of labor, economic prosperity, skillful diplomacy, feelings of insecurity among the Indian merchants, inequality, and ignorance of the Indian kings. And with this, we come to the conclusion of the lesson, children. Revise well and stay safe. Thank you.